Dear Rabbi, ladies and gentlemen, as you know already, my name is Goldkorn. I am a Holocaust survivor. Each of us Holocaust survivors can fill out volumes about our sufferings at the hands of the Nazis. But right now, it's more important to teach all the people of the world how to avoid persecution, which we Jewish people, regrettable, know a lot about it. Today, we are gathered here to hear my story, but I shall only talk two experiences in order to have some more time to touch on some other subjects. The first experience is really about a parent's dilemma, how they have to make a decision which of their two sons to give to the Moloch, to the German beast, in order to save the other one. To understand what happened, I have to tell you a little about myself, because I was one of those two sons. When I was 10 years old in 1937, I came down with a very severe case of pneumonia. They didn't have antibiotics then, and I was already with one foot on the other side. But my mother didn't give up on me. Day and night at my bedside, she pulled me back from the brink and took me to the mountains for fresh air and nursed me back to full health. Still, they treated me like a porcelain figurine. Then in February 1943, imagine that's already 3 years in the war, SS with dogs surrounded the place I worked and took us to a transit building. The name was Dulag, from where they were sending transports to Auschwitz or to labor camps. Next morning, a Jewish policeman ordered me to follow him. When we were by ourselves in a bathroom, he handed me a small bottle with a white liquid and a letter attached to it. My mother wrote that they were pulling some strings to set me free. They heard that the transport would go out the next day. And when we still have to assemble in the courtyard before leaving the building, I should stand to the side and drink the milk which is laced with some poison. When I feel weak, I should fall down and make believe I am unconscious. They will put me back in the building and my parents will have more time to work for my release. We were staying outside for a few hours and there was no sign of weakness on my body. I was thinking, the SS are no fools. If they find me faking, they may finish me right there. We were arranged 5 abreast, about 400, 500 people, and marched out toward the railroad station, about half an hour away. It was a beautiful day. Even so, it was only end of February, it was unusually warm. The snow was melting all around us, a real spring day. We would appreciate it some other time, but right now, we were preoccupied with our worries. Where are we going? Auschwitz, or maybe only a labor camp? Teenagers like myself, separated for the first time from their families, trying to fight off the feeling of panic. Grown-ups worried about their wives and children they are leaving behind. What's going to happen to them? Who will take care of them? When will we see loved ones again? if at all. In heavy winter clothing, we perspired heavily, and now I started feeling some weakness. My thoughts not too clear, but still in contact of my body, with my body. I was thinking, if I should fall down and the risk involved, and all of a sudden I was pushed out of the marching column. My younger brother in my place, he was the one who pushed me out. All this didn't take more than 2-3 seconds, but the assessment saw it, grabbed him by the collar, kicked his butt, and threw him out. I found myself back in my spot, drowsy, not able to grasp what just happened here. I didn't see how they treated him, because we didn't stop marching, and I was already a few steps ahead. After the war, when I analyzed the situation, I have to explain that during the war, in the camps, we didn't have chance to concentrate on those things, because we have to be always on guard and watch what's happening from second to second to remain alive. So after the war, when I analyzed this situation, I realized that my mother, after trying to free me from the clutches of the SS and not succeeding, and worrying very much that her son, who was so sick few years back, may not survive this hard condition of a camp, convinced my younger brother to take my place. Imagine a mother's heart. She loves both sons, and she has to make this terrible decision. We were a loving family, but still, how did Benny agree to sacrifice himself for his older brother? When he was ready to leave the house to take my place, I know for sure plenty of tears were spilled. Here was a mother whose sickly son is going to the camp, and she is sending a younger son who may not come back either. That's a heart-wrenching dilemma for a mother. I also knew for sure that when Benny pushed me out, my mother saw it. She was standing some 70-80 feet away at the side of a building, and seeing what was going on, she for sure wanted to run this short distance to beg for mercy for her sons, to give her life for us. But she was also responsible for the rest of the family. There was her husband and 2 more boys, a married daughter with a husband, a newborn baby boy, the oldest son and his wife in a camp, and 2 sons in Russia, a younger brother and his family and her parents in Krakow, a different city. All looked for her guidance or for her advice. Also, extensive family of my mother's side in our town. Watching what was happening with her sons, her heart was breaking, and she could not even cry out to us, could not drop a tear. She had to stand there like a mummy without showing any emotion or be recognized as a Jew and also be sent away and leave the loved ones without protection. Until now, I don't know what happened to Benyek, that's my brother. If they released him and he got back home, or they sent him away and mother had to cry for 2 sons. If he was sent to Auschwitz and perished there, this is one more unforgivable, terrible Nazi crime against Jewish children. But in case he returned home, I am afraid he suffered even more, because a few months later, our ghetto was liquidated and all were sent to Auschwitz. And Benyek and Henrik were identical twins. They probably fell into Dr. Mengele's hands, and he was known for his brutal inhuman experiences.